Bodybuilding show. Thanks for watching. We're on location today at PT by Joe. I got IFBB Pro Stephen Fiore is my guest co-host today. Thanks for joining me again for another episode.
Appreciate it.
Dude, you rocked your last interview, man. You're a natural.
Thank you. Wow.
Maybe this is your calling. What are you talking about? The April 10th show? I mean, maybe you get into broadcasting.
It's a late bloomer. I don't know.
Everything's late for you.
Everything's late. Everything's late. Yeah.
Anyway, so you got your teammate coming on next.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about him before he comes out. Rookie guy, never done a show, just did the Tucson show?
Just did the Tucson show. You can see back here by all the hardware. I think there's like probably one, and then there's the overall too. So
actually, when he comes out here, you're gonna see it almost looks like him, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like
pretty much.
almost identical. All right. Well, without further ado, who's our guest?
Jerry Hallberg.
Jerry Hallberg in the house. What's up, man?
How are you?
Good to see you. Look at this guy, man. So you're on the show. Let's put on a show. Let's see him most muscular, even though you're men's physique. Look at that. My goodness.
Let's do two bodybuilders.
Wow. Wow. Amazing physique, man. What got you into the sport?
To be honest with you, I was probably 14 years old, and basically a couple friends of mine were into the martial arts thing, and they introduced a couple weights, a couple dumbbells, 10-pound, maybe 15-pound dumbbells, and I think I remember doing my first bicep curls and seeing a little pump in my bicep. That was it.
You were addicted?
Absolutely, that did it for me.
Cool.
So.
Well, who was it that, I mean, for me, I was just telling your teammate here, Steven, that I always looked up to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Actually, it was Rocky, and then as I got a little bit older, he's not very big. I want to be bigger. I want to be like this. Who was it that you looked at and you're like, I want to look? Was there anybody like that?
Honestly, it was Arnold.
It was Arnold too.
He was my idol for the longest time in the movies. I loved watching him in the movies. He was beyond huge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as I got into the fitness world and the gym and stuff like that, I kind of lost the desire to be that big. I don't know, either it wasn't in my genetics or I just wasn't willing to commit that. I don't know, but he was, as far as an individual, he was such a inspiration for me. And so he's one of my idols, and coincidentally, he was a crush of my now wife's.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, yeah. So.
Well, what Joe told me before when I walked in the door, I was like, oh my God, who's this guy? And he told me a little bit about you, and he's like, yeah, by the way, that's all natural. And you know what I said? No way, which is a huge compliment to you.
No, I've been going through that.
I mean, amazing job, man. I mean, the work ethic that goes into. What is the hardest part for you, getting ready for your first show? What was the hardest part? Was it dropping the water? Was it the low carb diet? Was all the cardio? What was all the above? What was it?
Honestly, I don't mind eating bad food. I love eating bad food, and I'll tell you the truth, I don't mind having a beer from time to time, and cutting that out, and kind of my wife is still hanging out, and she's a little bit more carefree right now. She's not preparing for a show, so I had to sit there and eat the asparagus and eat the tilapia, and she's sitting there having a beer or two or a glass of wine or something. So that in itself. So I try to just pull myself out of that situation. I wouldn't go out to bars. I won't go out and put myself in that situation. But
set yourself up for success is what I like to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't put me around a bunch of greasy food because I'm probably gonna want to eat it. Right?
You're right. Yeah, it smells so good.
Yeah.
But as far as training goes, I still have a lot more work to do. I want to get my stomach down right. I want to get working with Joe. I want to get everything dialed in.
Once they get his stomach down right, I don't know.
A lot of work to do, but.
Well, what's cool. What I love about bodybuilding is that no matter what happens, you can always be better. And so it's a lifelong thing that you could always work on. And Arnold Schwarzenegger put it best when he says, it's like being a sculptor on your own body. You're not using clay. You're actually, I need more delts here, so you're going to work on your delts.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Do you use any of Arnold had all kinds of methods to inspire himself, to keep him motivated. One of my favorite things that he used to use was visualization. Okay. And if you can visualize yourself looking a certain way, winning on stage, then the odds of you winning and looking a certain way are really mute, because if you can't see it happening, it's not going to happen. So for you, did you see yourself winning this Tucson show?
I'll tell you the truth, I didn't. I didn't. I just.
That goes against everything I just said.
I gotta tell you the truth, I didn't. I wanted so bad to win a trophy. That's all I wanted. I wanted so bad to just win a trophy. A big inspiration for me is also my family, my son. I have a 4-year-old boy, and he is going to.
Congratulations! Thanks. We have girls, and you know what they say about that, right?
Yeah,
it takes a man to make a boy.
Yeah. Oh, great.
He can embarrass you. He's like, man, you blew me up making this IFBB Pro. Now you're telling me I'm not a man. What the heck?
Talking 10 years when they're 16, they're asking for the keys for the car. That'll be another story.
Right, right. Well, my daughter's already asking me for a cell phone. I'm like, okay, when you're 13, maybe I'll consider it. You're 10. And then on our Instagram it says, single and happy. I'm like, of course you're single.
Wow.
You're 10.
Wow.
Take that down.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, you got a son. Good
He's
for
a
you.
handful. He is, and he's been smart enough to know what I'm doing. Daddy goes to the gym all the time. Daddy goes to the gym all the time. Where's Daddy? He's at the gym working out. That's, you know. So, but I didn't have anything official to show that I accomplished something. To me, that trophy signifies that I did something in a difficult world, in a difficult environment, and the judges, the professional judges, you know, said, hey, you were one of the best today. And that meant a lot to me. So that's why that trophy meant a lot. The first place, I never would have guessed. I never.
Wow.
Would've, no.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, when I always took second. I was like one of those people, whether it was a team sport or in a wrestling tournament, second. It wasn't until I got into bodybuilding that I ended up with 9 second place trophies, you know, the first 3. And then finally when I'm like, all right, I really want to win. And I wasn't thinking about an overall. I just one step at a time. Let me win my class.
Right.
And so, everything came, the stars were in line,
Yeah.
But I think coming into this next show, you got the 1 overall title. I mean, you're kind of the favorite going into the March show, I think, because the judges just saw you.
Yeah.
You know what you need to do? And Joe already told you this, I'm sure. You got to look better than what you did in Tucson. Whatever it is that you do, am I right, Joe? He's got to come in looking a little bit tighter.
That's what we're working for right now.
That's right. A lot of posing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Tell me about your posing. I mean, I know when you walked in and been going that, and tell you how everything's transpired with learning the moves. And it's not just quarter turn. There is something to it where your shoulders dipped a little too low. This is too high. Your traps are too much. I mean, there is actually a
lot more to it. A lot. I was going to initially do this myself. I was going to, how hard could it be? 4 turns.
Same thing.
4 turns. How hard could it be? So I'd do in the mirror and I'd go, yeah, I don't know. Then actually a friend of mine that did compete, and he placed in a couple shows. He actually was working with Joe, and he recommended him. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go with him. You know what I mean? And right when I started working with him, very comfortable. Everything felt right. And the tips he started to give me, I started to see the difference of what he was telling me and what I thought was right. And my God, it is so much more to it. There's so much more to this than 4 corners.
Yeah.
That,
and I know in women's bikini, and we're not. I have a lot of respect. Some people say mankini. I'm like one of those people. I wish I could do men's physique, but unfortunately, my legs is my best body part, so I can't cover those up. But one thing that I learned is that a bikini girl will sometimes look back at the judges. Yeah. You don't do that as a men's physique guy, do you?
Try not to.
Yeah, right. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I try not to. It's I'm still trying to. There's never really perfecting the poses, but I still feel like it's becoming more fluid and more natural, and so that way you get that down. It's second nature. You could think about the other things, the smiling, the other stage presence. You don't want to have your mind always thinking, hit this pose and freeze, hit this pose and freeze. So
you're gonna put some eyeliner on too.
Maybe lipstick. Whatever works.
Yeah, I like it. Whatever it takes to win, right? Maybe that's all he needs to do for his next show is just brighten up his eyes a little bit and just have the body the same. Just have the face.
It could be it.
Something's got to be a little different.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, I know these guys do anything and everything they could, but in my mind, on that note, is I'm always thinking someone else is working harder than me. You know what I mean? Someone else is doing something, whether it's cardio, whether it's eating right. They're always doing something because they want it more than I do. And so that's why I got to take that into consideration. Is everything from top to bottom, you have to be focused on that show. You know what I mean? So.
Well, you're very complete. When I walked in and I asked, who's that guy? Oh, he just won the overall. My first impression was that you're in men's bodybuilding. I just, if you didn't have the board shorts on, I would have thought you won the overall in men's bodybuilding. I mean, you're pretty big. So, what made you decide? Okay, I want to do a show. I want to get a trophy. I want some hardware. I want to accomplish something. How come it was men's physique?
I never had a desire to go to bodybuilding. I honestly never did. I don't know what it was, but I just again maybe I associated with being huge, being enormous and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just because this is a new world for me. The gym is not, but just that competition. I'm 36. 36, yes. So I just thought this is a new world to me, and when Physique came out, and I noticed a couple friends started competing, and I said, you know what? That's more of a natural thing. That's more of a natural thing for me. I can fit into that.
So you knew just from kind of where you belonged in the sport.
That's what I feel.
And that's like Matt Christiano's a good friend of mine. Yeah. And we competed against each other. And I remember when after the USA's, he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this." Men's Physique hadn't even come out, but it was announced that there was this new division. Okay. And I'm like, "No, dude, you need to get bigger. You need to continue. You need to do it." He's like, "No, I think I can, turn pro. I'll be marketable. I can." He was right. Wow. So I think you're kind of have that
too.
Yeah,
I watch everything he does. He's an inspiration too. Yeah. So all those guys, I mean, it's unbelievable. Now going through this process, I realized how much work they put in. I thought it was gonna be a lot easier. I thought I was going to be able to do some crunches. I'm going to get on the treadmill for once in my life. I'm going to get on stage. But there was so much more involved. You know what I mean? With the team here, working with these other guys, and the coaching tips and all that stuff. That kind of made a complete package. You know, you could look good, but whereas all those guys I felt looked good, but if you don't have that complete package, the judges are going to see it. And I think
Jerry, how many years have you been working out?
Well, since I'm 36, 20 years. About 20 years.
20 years?
Yes,
Wow. And how many years do you have under you?
Oh, let's see, it's 43, so it's a little bit more than 20 years probably then. So,
Yeah, that's crazy. So we're all, you know, I'm the
Doing it for a
oldest, but
while.
you know, we've been doing it a long time, and it's kind of cool to have that. It's almost like a lifetime achievement award because you've been working on this body forever.
Sure.
And it's like, you know, when I first did my first show, Rusty Jeffers came up to me, you know, IFBB Pro Rusty Jeffers.
Right.
He said, you should do a show, and he posed me in the locker room. And when you were talking about the posing, it reminded me because he told me to hit a front relaxed. I'm like, front relaxed? So I was like, it was men's physique, but there was no men's physique. He's like, what are you doing? Front relaxed.
Wow.
I'm like, I don't know what a front relaxed is.
Yeah.
Quarter turn, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's once you get a little taste of that, you know, it's you know, obviously you're going to continue on. You're going to get onto the national stage then, or?
Hopefully, yeah.
Well,
I'm going to compete in Mesa this Friday.
Okay.
And
oh, that's right. The Outlaw. Is it the Outlaw, right?
Right. Western, natural Western.
No. The Outlaw last weekend.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an NQ.
No.
Okay, so you got to go qualify.
Yeah,
You're going to qualify. Now, is it top 2 or is it top 5 or is it?
Honestly, I believe it's top 2. And that's so. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's top 2 in the open.
Is it top 2 in the
It's
open?
top 2 in the open. Top 2 or top 3, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I think when it first came out, it was like, I know when Bikini came out, wasn't it top 5?
Top 5.
Top 5 got it. So yeah, so they're kind of shrinking it down.
And
to
the
where-
Junior Masters was 35, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's annoying.
And it went to 40, so that was
Yeah, that's annoying because I'm like, they moved Masters down to 35. That's bull crap. I have to compete against younger guys.
I know.
I moved it around. It was 42 a year ago. The
Uh-huh.
show was actually 42. It wasn't even 40 or 35. It was 42.
Yeah.
Wow.
Moving
Well,
around.
it didn't help me out. So
Yeah. So any sponsors? I mean,
no, sir, no. Would that be something I'd look forward to? Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
What supplements do you use?
Right now, just basically a pre-workout, like kryptonite, things like that. I feel like that works good with me. I think it's 4DN is the protein and the casein protein. So other than that, I don't use a lot. Multivitamins, things of that nature.
Yeah. It's not a whole lot. I mean, you're just as
No,
far as your
eating clean.
nutrition plan. Is Joe doing your nutrition plan?
Yeah,
for you?
that's huge. Eating clean, got the meals broken out, the time of day, the portion size, you know, all that is broken out, and that's huge.
I want to ask you both because I mean, you both have coaches. I'm doing it on my own right now. But how important is it to your success having Joe Valdez as your coach, and the support system? How important was it to both of you? Because they do the thinking for you, and you just kind of like I had Charles Curtis on last week, and I said, hey, you know, tell me about having a coach. He said, well, it's much easier just to follow directions.
Sure.
So what's your thoughts on that?
That was it. I mean, without Joe and the team, and the guidance, and the laid out plan, I wouldn't even been at this show. I honestly wouldn't have. You know, even though again I might have some confidence in how I appeared, so people are like, you should do a show. You know, you can do it. There's so much more to it. You know what I mean? And with someone laying that out in front of you, going here, quiet. You know, and I came back at him and go, hey, I think this. No, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? So. But someone laying the plan out in front of you and saying, here's what we're going to do. I've done this before. I can prove it. Look at, you know what I mean? Look around you. And so for me, I just shut my mouth. You know what I mean?
Good.
For once, I shut
and
my
what
mouth.
I've noticed with there's a lot of training studios, a lot of successful training studios. I mean, we're a big bodybuilding state, and you know, I noticed that some of these people that are heading up these studios, they can have a really good eye for it. They know the nutrition, they know this, but when it comes to seeing this pose looks best on you and you need to do it this way, I think it takes a trained eye, and it might not even be a trained eye, it might just be something that you're gifted with to be able to look like and be like, hey, put that shoulder down or do this and that.
That's it.
So,
That's
you
it.
know, Joe's got a great reputation, so it's cool that your friend recommended him, or?
Yes, sir. Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
Good.
I think that's one of the best things about Joe is because he can literally line up. I mean, there's going to be 25 competitors here out in Mesa, and I've been in one of that line of 25 people down, and it's, you know, cheesecake and steak. Sorry, rice cakes and peanut butter, and the poor girl's like, you know, and then looks over me and says pizza, and everybody's like, jerk.
Right.
And it goes down the line to different people. So to memorize 25, 15 different people of what they should eat beforehand, because everybody's different. It's sports
Everybody's
science.
body is different.
Right. So everybody
and,
can say, what do you eat?
some people react better to healthy fats. Some people react better to
Totally
complex
different.
carbohydrates.
Sure.
And that's one thing we had Joe on the episode that I knew about Joe is that he's not a cookie cut diet. he will custom make a diet around what works for you. And you know, there's a lot of cookie cutters out there. I'm not knocking it, but I think at some point you need to make that switch to, okay, we know this isn't working, let's do this, and you know, he's got the knowledge to be able to provide that for you. So good stuff. Good stuff. So you're gonna hit the national stage. Are you thinking the USA's? Are you gonna go dive right into that? Or are you gonna take a little time off, and there was just what Joe tells you, this is the show you're doing, that's the show you're gonna do?
That's how it's going right now.
Okay.
Talk to them Saturday night or Sunday morning probably by the time they get off stage.
Right. Right.
Like 1 in the morning.
It will be.
Yeah,
it will be. It's going to be a big show. I think it's going to be a good turnout. The Natural Western Classic is one of our bigger shows. Usually have a lot of bikini girls in that show, right, Joe?
Yes.
A lot of them. Joe's our cameraman today, thank you. But anyways, anybody you want to throw a shout out to? Friends, family? Anybody? I know you have obviously a great support system here, and to have the success that you have, obviously you didn't do it alone. So anybody you want to throw a shout out to?
Well, first, I didn't say this at the show, but I wanted to thank the judges. I wanted to go up and shake every one of their hands, but so much was going through my head, and I think I was just...
Joe, why didn't he do that?
I regret it.
Now, if he doesn't win the overall, it's going to be
I know.
Hey, you ungrateful overall winner didn't come shake my hand.
I really hope they don't look at it like that.
Yeah, give him the overall.
Give me my trophy, I'm out of here.
I feel bad that I didn't, but I really, after everything sank in, I kind of go, that's the first thing I should
email tonight.
I will. I need to.
I just email him, say, hey, I'm doing it tomorrow. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, I know. I really wish I did, but that was one thing. And friends and family that came out. I had a good group of people, and again, I believe it's not just one particular thing that made a difference for me that day. I think it was the fact that I had people there. They gave me confidence. Also, I had training. I had a team that I linked up with, and that helped me. I put in the work, and I mean, there's just all these things from all angles, and it was my day with all these things considered. So. But I do want to thank my friends and family. My wife and my child right now are basically they're being neglected. They're I know you can sit here and go, what the work you put in is. It's unbelievable. I've never committed to something so much in my life focused on this thing, and so I want to thank them, and I have to make it up to them. So after the show, regardless of the turnout, I think I might have to duck off the mat for a little bit.
That's smart. You know what? I like what you say. I like that message because yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I'm a married man. I have kids, and everything does kind of take the backseat for a short period of time, and for you to be able to recognize that and then say, hey, I'm going to address my family matters after, maybe take some time off.
Well, they
kind of shows you the yeah, they won't let you forget.
No. But that's it. And again, Joe and PT by Joe and the team here, couldn't have done it without them.
So people want to hook up with you. They want to find out more about you. How do they find you?
It could be Facebook.com. I go with /Fit1AZ. You can see me out there. I post a lot of stuff, a lot of photos and tips and eating tips. Instagram also at Fit1AZ also.
Okay.
So
what's your Facebook? What are you on Facebook?
.com /Fit1AZ. Facebook /Fit1AZ.
Okay.
Yeah. So Fit1AZ is basically kind of the whole fitness world for me. I put it under that name, that domain, and that's where I post a lot of this stuff and tips and stay connected with people and keep the motivation going.
Well, it sounds like you like motivating and helping people.
I do. I'm also a trainer, so I love.
Oh,
yeah,
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's giving back.
Yeah.
That's good. We like to see that in the sport, especially when you're an overall winner. You're a physique champion. Anytime you win an overall, I mean, I think it's our duty as overall champs to give back to the sport a little bit, help somebody pay it forward a little bit. I'm glad you're already doing that without me telling you to. I'm sure Joe probably told you to too, but you have a greater responsibility to the Arizona bodybuilding community to represent. You're the overall champ. Be an open book. You're approachable. And that's cool, man.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Good. So we're going to look for you on the national stage. We'll look for you on Friday.
Yes.
I'll be watching prejudging. I'm going to watch that show. I'm going to be taking notes.
All right.
So after the show's over, hopefully we'll be talking about how it feels to win your second overall title in 2 weeks. Not many people can do that. So I know last year we had Giorgio, a friend of mine, did that show, placed dead last, came back to the Arizona show the next week and won the overall.
Yeah. See.
So I mean. You never know. You might have this guy that you smoked on stage is coming to get you, man.
Yeah, I know. Put in the work, and
that's good.
Everybody's a competitor there, and so I'm just gonna put in my work.
Good. Well, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for
Vincent VJ Hils on the V Bodybuilding Show, brought to you by ProSups. Want to say a special thanks to ProSups, Six Pack Bags, My Oatmeal, and Metroflex Gym. Also PT by Joe. Steve Fiore, Jerry Hallberg. V Bodybuilding Show, like it, favorite, save it, share it, tweet it. Thanks.